Security around a Miami federal courthouse is tightening up in preparation for an historic first. Later on Tuesday, former President Donald Trump will become the first former U.S. president to be arraigned on federal charges. These are live images from outside the courthouse right now. Supporters and protesters alike are expected to descend on the area in droves, and they are already starting to gather. Ivan Rodriguez is outside the courthouse with this latest update sent a short while ago.
Former President Donald Trump will become the first former U.S. president to be arraigned on federal charges later today in a Miami courtroom. Trump faces a total of 37 counts, including 31 counts that alleges he willfully retained classified documents after he left office and refused to return them. Trump has rallied against the charges.
Witch hunt, scam, hoax. It's called election interference, and they're doing the best they can with it.
And called for his supporters to protest at the Florida courthouse.
This is like Castro and Putin crap. I mean, geez, you can't take out a president like that.
And some supporters are steadfast in their loyalty to the former president.
We don't even care if he's going to be in jail, and we have to write him in. You know, to a lot of us, it's like Trump or nothing.
While many in Trump's party are falling in line behind him,
this is a weaponized government attempt to take down the top political enemy and leading presidential candidate of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Only a few others are breaking ranks.
How about blame him? He did it. He took documents he wasn't supposed to take. He kept them when they asked him back for them. They got a grand jury subpoena. He refused to comply. They raided his home finally because he refused to comply.
So for more on this unusual moment for America, Mark Schulman, the editor-in-chief at History Central and columnist, is joining us now live from Tel Aviv. Mark, thank you for your time as always. So Donald Trump, the first former American president to be arraigned on federal charges, not something to be proud of, not something one might want on one's CV when one looks back at one's career. How worried should he be right now?
Well, legally, you should be very worried. I mean, legally, it's a pretty strong case. If this was any other person, not Donald Trump, I would say it's a cut and dry. He's going to lose. He's going to end up in jail. Of course, this is not just any other person. This is Donald Trump, who made the famous comment that if I shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, I would get away with it. I think he still thinks he'll get away with it. And he might from a political standpoint. There might be jury nullification at the end of the day. He'll be very good at putting this off, and it'll be in the middle of the presidential campaign. And who knows at what point he'll actually be convicted if he gets convicted. On the other hand, it really is a cut and dry case. And as Chris Christie said, he did it. He did the crime. He didn't have to do the crime. There's no clear reason why he did the crime, to be honest with you. No one quite understands what his motivation was, just other than the fact that he thought he can get away with anything. So we'll have to see. But, if I'm a regular citizen and I was charged like this, I'd be planning to spend the rest of my life in jail. Donald Trump still has a good chance of ending up in jail, but who knows with him.
It's a 37-count indictment. It accuses him of keeping highly sensitive documents, including files about U.S. military plans and nuclear programs as well. He seems to think it's boosting his popularity in the United States. Why is that the case?
Well, it's boosting his popularity amongst his base. His base thinks he can do no wrong. I mean, it really makes little logical sense when you think about it. This man clearly endangered the American security by keeping these documents where he did. These are the highest secrets that America has, and they were available for any spy who happened to be snooping around Mar-a-Lago to get their hands on. And yet people believe that he is the second coming of Jesus. That's all he can claim. I mean, on no basis, people just support him and think he's just absolutely terrific. Makes no little sense to those of us who don't believe that. But that's the way people believe. And so the people who think that he's the greatest thing ever are saying it's a witch hunt. I have to support him. I have to get out there. I have to give him more money and more money and more money. So from that perspective, he's gaining money. And of course, so many of the Republican rivals are afraid to say anything because they're afraid of the base that loves him so and believes that all of this is an alternate reality. And that's the other part of the problem. Keep in mind that in the United States and the whole world today, there's two realities. There's the actual events that actually have taken place, and there's the reality that's in the QAnon world, that's in all sorts of conspiracy worlds that people actually believe. And I think much of what some people are getting about the Donald Trump indictment, they're not getting from normal media, normal places. Even Fox News is giving normal news, but they're getting it from all sorts of strange places that are saying things that have no connection to reality. But to some people, that is reality. And that's one of the great dangers right now, both in the United States and here in Israel and all over the world, where people are living news that doesn't even exist.
Well, we certainly will be watching to see the outcome with the news that does in fact exist out of the courthouse in Miami. Mark Schulman, Editor-in-Chief at History Central and columnist, thank you as always for speaking to us here on I-24 News. Thanks, Mark.
My pleasure.